Once again, a big hello to Benedict Spence. Morning to you.
Hello.
I do want to let you get your chance to have a say back on the Maccabi Tel Aviv match, and I mean, there's just no doubt at all that police in the West Midlands, and I know this isn't the lead story, but it does go towards, when we talk about like what happens in jury trials, when we talk about trust in politicians, the fact that an awful lot of us who would have been brought up, I'm guessing you and I were both brought up in homes where of course you trust the police. Why wouldn't you trust the police? If the police are going to literally make up stuff, I mean, make up stuff, not able to actually look at official court records or what like the Amsterdam police have said about the propensity of, you know, Tel Aviv Maccabi fans to be, or sorry, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans to be violent, or what happened in Amsterdam. There was basically what was called a Jew hunt. A Jew hunt organised by Islamist extremists in Amsterdam, not football fans, just Islamist extremists. They knew there'd be a load of Jewish Israelis, so they decided to go out and try. It's a miracle that people didn't die. It's as simple as that. Virtually all the people convicted in trials as well of that were those people, not the football fans. That's your giveaway. And yet, for some reason, West Midlands Police used that and another completely made-up, never-happened match and various things online as an excuse to basically ban fans from attending a football match in Birmingham, when the real issue was Islamist extremists in Birmingham who were going to try and attack those Jewish fans. That's what was really going to happen. Can we trust a single word a Chief Constable says?
I think in this case, from going forward until there are some serious recriminations for members of the force, then no. I think we all understand, actually, that that was what was going on at the time. It's that actually police feel, correctly, if we're being honest here, that the critical mass of active people in this area, politically motivated people, do come from certain communities, the Pakistani community being perhaps the largest one. They're highly motivated, they will turn up, they will cause trouble, and it wouldn't have just been with the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, it would have also been with the Aston Villa fans, and there was trouble at the ground between...
Even though those fans were banned, there was trouble.
Exactly.
There was a huge amount of anti-Semitic graffiti everywhere as well.
The Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were not allowed to go there, but there was trouble actually with protesters turning up and the normal Aston Villa fans going, well, what on earth is this? This is our football match. What on earth is it that you're doing muscling in on all of this? The police obviously feel that they can't say this, for the same reason probably that they felt that they couldn't say things about, for instance, grooming gangs, because community relations and all that sort of thing. There is just an ongoing pattern here of police. We all understand what's going on. Everybody, it's not a secret, but there is still that sense, because we are British and it's a polite society, that you can't say the obvious thing, and it's a thing that is holding us back. The obfuscation, the avoiding of the truth.
A police force that's afraid of facts. It's not a police force.
Like South Yorkshire Police, exactly.
It's
basically lawless.
But this is the thing. But if you're basically saying, and we saw this after the Southport attack and the riots, so one group told, oh, could you go back to your mosque and put your machetes down, please? I mean, I do mean literally told that. I'm not paraphrasing. And other people being arrested and imprisoned for things they posted online. Now, I'm sorry, you're into a situation where when we see the pro-Palestinian marches and Jews being told, can you not be openly Jewish because it's provocative? When they stopped UKIP marching in the East End because it would be provocative. We know they were trying to be provocative. But the thing is, if you can be provoked, you could put God, many different people. You can put a Remain march down my street. It's not going to provoke me to violence.
No, well.
No, I'm able to actually contain myself. If people are provoked to violence by a peaceful demonstration, I can go out and shout at them. I can wave my, my union flag at them. But I wouldn't be provoked to violence. If you are going to be provoked into violence by people peacefully demonstrating, you are the problem, not the peaceful demonstrators. No matter how heinous some of the views are. Say, for instance, if people are racist, if people are, Nazis marching down the street. I've been on an anti-Nazi march. I went on an anti-Nazi march randomly in Germany, not that random.
In 1935?
No, I'm not. I am old, not that old. In 1992, I know exactly when it was. I was living in Germany.
There at that time.
And it was rather good fun. I mean, these are clearly awful people, and I don't mean what people call far right now. You, me, anyone who thinks we should have borders. I mean,
outside, all
literal Nazis. Okay, but I didn't feel the need for violence. You just make their lives difficult by always being in the way.
But of course, we're not even talking about a protest here. We're talking about people just wanting to go to a football match, not making political points or anything like that.
Can we take the politics out of football for the Eurovision football? Can we take the politics out, please?
Oh, well, of course, we're doing the Israelis a massive favour if we ban them from Eurovision. Actually, that would make their lives a lot more simple. But of course, the funny thing about that, of course, was when Israel does compete in the Eurovision Song some contexts, it actually does rather well, because it turns out the world is not, in fact, universally anti-Semitic. As much as the hardcore likes to shout about genocide and X, Y, Z, we actually quite like them as people. They tend to be quite civilised. We enjoy that.
Well, exactly. Let's go back to the small matter of jury trials. David Lammy, the Justice Secretary, has been doing that really irritating thing. So a memo that's gone round Cabinet gets leaked last week. We all are outraged. We're then told it's going to be watered down. But originally we're talking about getting rid of jury trials, going much further than the recommendations from a paper written by Sir Brian Leveson, looking at, how do we speed up jury trials and the like, how do you speed up criminal trials and get rid of the backlog of about 80,000 cases. And one of the issues was jury trials. Although everyone who works in this criminal justice system points out this is the least important issue, is actually that you haven't got any court sitting at all. A jury trial still requires barristers and courts and judge. Those are the people you're lacking rather than the jury. The jury has to turn up. They're legally required to. I know, because I did it a couple of years ago. And you're not paying us a load of money, because, the expenses are dire, by the way. But this is the thing. So he's wanted to go even further than what he was saying, which is a case that, for instance, you get more than a 3-year jail sentence, could stay in the magistrate's court, or you could go to this different layer where you've got a judge and 2 lay magistrates sitting, and that would be a fair sort of compromise. He was basically going, no, 5 years max. Otherwise, you have just a single judge, no jury, unless it's a rape, manslaughter, murder, or a couple of other serious crimes. Massive outcry from anyone who knows anything about the justice system. Now backtracking on it, does a media round pointlessly this morning, basically saying, I can't tell you what I want to tell you because I have to tell you the Commons first. Utterly pointless. Do the media round tomorrow so we can discuss it with you after you've announced it, for goodness sake. Not that he'd come on this show. Oh, David, I do miss you. I do miss you. Come on any time. But he's saying you can't cling on to jury trials for the sake of tradition. It's not tradition. It's what works.
Yes, it's justice. Is just traditional? Is that what we're getting rid of? The fact of the matter is, we've discussed this at great length, but are we really going to concentrate all of this power into the hands of one individual and then think about actually the amount of pressure that is then put on that individual, the workload that goes onto them? Those people will make mistakes, and then no doubt they'll get it in the neck. For what? Having to take on the work of previously 12 people? Yeah. That's as much as part of it as anything else. It's differing views, it's sharing the load. It's also so that if somebody makes a mistake, the burden of blame does not fall on one individual. It's up to an entire jury to have made that mistake. There's a fairness that comes to this as well. We've all been kicking judges this morning, and that's, right and fun sometimes, but we also have to look at it slightly in terms of the overall fairness. Is it fair to put all of that additional effort on a judge, and if they get it wrong... I'm serious about
that's
this.
the least of my worries. They've signed up for the job, and they're sentencing people. And my point is that, one individual person is unlikely, even though he's an expert, well, you can be an expert in the law, but you're not an expert in whether or not you're making a judgment whether he's telling the truth or she's telling the truth.
But is it fair
We're
to
ordinary
the system?
common people. We're able to make that judgment. We make that judgment every single day.
But this is my point. Is it fair to the overall system? And the system actually does matter, because the justice system is the legitimacy by which the state exists. If you put all of that pressure on fewer pressure points, they will start to buckle over time. And then questions about the legitimacy of the system itself will become
And we've
justified.
already got those questions over sentencing.
Yes, and then you're blaming individual judges and you're blaming the system. That's not actually fair. And it's not fair on them. It's not fair on us, because this is supposed to be keeping us all safe and our rights.
But also, there isn't a system whereby they are vetting people from juries because they vote for reform or hold certain views. No, but then quite reasonably. Whereas judges, I know people who are judges genuinely. Okay, I'm sure there are lots of right-wing judges. The old school, public school.
Some of them are still alive.
Yes. Some of them are still alive. But actually, the newbies coming up, they are being really strict. Honestly, you have to pass these DEI things. You have to go along for all of that. Well, you have to pretend to go along for all of that nonsense. The idea that they're in any way completely separate from government. What was the point of Keir Starmer, after the Southport riots, going on television and saying, we're going to throw the book at these people? And they were definitely 100% clearer. They were stronger, tougher sentences, as they were after the 2011 riots in London and elsewhere. There were stronger sentences handed down because it was all about the deterrence effect. Sorry, that's not within the remit of judges to just go, oh, because of this wider concern. That's not what they're supposed to do. So they were clearly politically influenced by that.
This is something else that actually has to be said about the nonsense of the idea of Labour and the left's idea about egalitarianism or dragging people up and improving the lives of everybody so that everybody is equal. They want to preserve this effectively elitist position because, as you say, the judges and the lawyers, they come from the exact same background and they have the exact same views. If you try to expand that to the general population, to the poor, the working class, good Lord, they might bring in slightly untoward views on things like immigration and patriotism. You couldn't possibly have that. It is a closed shop.
But I think Robert Jenrick nailed it when we spoke to him about an hour ago on the show, as Shadow Justice Secretary, that this is a government, this is a party that doesn't trust the people. They got it wrong on Brexit. They got it wrong, on this or that. They think we're wrong about net zero. We're wrong about, the trans issue. Wrong about actually the common sense of the ordinary man or woman in the street is clearly way beyond anything that your average Labour politician can grasp. It's the fact that the average person, including the average Labour voter, is opposed to the scrapping of the two-child benefit gap. That tells you people who live in the real world, they get it. They have they're better judges of character. They're better judges, and a lot of these court cases, a lot of it does come down to who's telling the truth. And people make those judgments every single day in their working and their personal lives.
And, well, I mean, the way you phrased it there, the government doesn't trust the people. They're right not to trust the people because the people have clocked them. That's the thing. Actually, they're entirely justified.
Don't let us be in charge, guys.
It may be morally bankrupt, but if we were in their position and we held the views they would, we would absolutely be behaving this way because we know the clock is ticking and sooner or later it's all going to come collapsing down.
I really, really do hope it does. When people say this is terrible, like this budget and the trust, and we get to come on to Rachel Reeves, part of me is just like, no, this is a good thing. We need to hit rock bottom. We are in drug addict, alcoholic territory of let's just keep saying, no, we want more money spent on this, more money spent on that, but no, don't tax me, just tax those people there. No, now the chickens are coming home to roost. People are feeling the pain. We are seeing the abject incompetence and the lies of this government. I mean, you thought the last lot, the Tories, were bad. Good grief, this lot are giving them a run for their money. And people need to hit rock bottom in this. We need to see just how bad these are. Like, people go, well, try them. Well, we'll try them. No, they're just as bad. We need a full shake-up of the system, and that's what I think an awful lot of our audience are wanting, and I think we should be wanting it. Rachel Reeves blatantly lied to the public, lied to Parliament, lied to the Cabinet, about the office budget responsibilities reports and what the numbers were in terms of was there a black hole, wasn't there a black hole. She then made political decisions. She told us she wasn't going to put our taxes up. She has put our taxes up. It's not for infrastructure or doing anything good like better education or getting rid of waiting lists. No, she's put our taxes up to give to a load of feckless people who are claiming they've got anxiety and ADHD and can't go to work. I mean, I'm sorry. The woman should be out of her job. Should have been out of her job before she even got a job. She's so incompetent and useless. She is promoted way beyond her ability. Rachel from accounts should be gone. Why won't the Prime Minister get rid of her?
Because when she goes, he is effectively defenceless. That's, she is the human flag. Yes, that's exactly what she is. A bit, every Prime Minister has them, for particularly unpopular things. I remember Priti Patel played that role in the Home Office for Boris Johnson. He could blame her for everything that was going horribly wrong. It was all on her. This is the exact same situation. Labour's major issue, somehow, more than immigration, is the state of the economy, and therefore she is there to take the brunt. She can keep doing that for a little bit of time. I think she's probably got one more statement, one more budget left in her, at which point everybody will then have their taxes put up again, because all this is a sticking plaster before the next lot of increases come. But what she's done, obviously, I don't think she's shaken confidence in the government, because there was not really much confidence in the government left, but the finances of the country and the perception internationally by international lenders, by the bond market, it's all looking at us and going, none of this is good. International investors are going, I wouldn't risk this. I don't know what's going to come next.
No, and also young people, I know, sort of young. I know he dresses like he's 85, but he is actually young.
Allegedly. I've just had a difficult life under this government.
Really tough paper round. A lot of you're probably delivering Country Life or something, weren't you? Not the
on my horse and carriage, yes,
on your horse
not on a
and
bike.
carriage, probably. I'm sorry.
It takes me back.
No, but a lot of young people like you, I mean, they're leaving the country. They're looking at going, is this somewhere I can make a future?
Yeah, and the thing is...
I mean,
there are a lot of
we
people
don't want you to go.
I know,
you know?
I know you don't want me to go, but it's one of those things where also you do get a lot of people, especially older people as well, I tend to hear it from, which is sort of oh, where's your sense of duty? And also then from the other side, from the left, going, oh, well, let them go, we don't need them. And you have to look at this in terms of the number of actual taxpayers in this country. About half the population pays tax, but only 9 million odd of them are net tax contributors. Yep. Where do we think they come from? What age demographic do we think they are? They tend to be people like me who aren't getting things like child support, aren't getting any of those kind of benefits. If we go, and if it's 100,000 next year and 100,000 the year after, how long is it
250,000 last year.
Before that tax base is eroded? Where are you going to get your money for your pensions from? And I know people will say, I've paid into it my whole life. No, you
haven't.
No, you haven't. The numbers don't stack up.
Sitting in the Treasury with your name on it, waiting for your pension.
Not for your pensions, not for your healthcare, not for your social care.
And the majority of people in this country are not. Look, they do. I'm genuine. I don't say this to be patronizing. I mean this genuinely. The person who sweeps my street, the bloke who collects my bins, they do more useful work than me. I'm paid more than them. They are not net contributors because in terms of what they take out versus what they paid in tax, and then they'll get their pension. However, we need people to do that absolutely vital work, very, very important and respectable work.
Yes.
We need them to do that. But nevertheless, their pension ain't being paid by them. That money's long gone.
Yeah, work needs to pay for the now and for the future. And I'm sorry, but it's unsustainable. And if we all start leaving, it'll collapse a lot sooner.
Does work pay for doctors? Junior doctors, as were now resident doctors, they're being accused of trying to wreck Christmas. 5-day strike on the 17th of December to the 22nd. Basically, flu season. We're looking at early flu season. Apparently, over the weekend, they've actually already had so many ambulance call-outs. It was like a New Year's Eve. Big worry that we are going to be seeing problems in emergency care. We already have. We know thousands of people are dying because they are not getting care soon enough. That is a big concern. Now, the last strike didn't affect quite so much because they said, they weren't cancelling all the operations, lots went ahead. This is a particularly difficult time because they're trying to basically discharge people and get them back home for Christmas, partly so they can have fewer staff on and partly because people want to be home for Christmas. But that does mean this is a particularly busy time. The BMA would have known this. Is the BMA right to go out on strike? They say it's not just they want a 26% pay rise, by the way, on top of the 29% they've already had, not that backdated. They use some very spurious inflation figures and a particular choice of the 2008 date to claim they've lost that. They're no worse off than pretty much every other public sector worker, and indeed private sector worker, after a result of the crash, lockdown, and Ukraine and the energy bills. They're just not. But we have also got, 20,000 doctors who are trained, fully trained, years of debt. We spent a fortune training them, who can't get a job training in a hospital, and that needs to be sorted. I mean, I don't mind them going out on strike about that because that's actually worthwhile. We want more doctors, particularly doctors trained here, to be hired.
Well, exactly. That's 20,000 places that should be going to people that we have effectively played or contributed to help training in the first place, and we're just going, oh, well, we don't need you because we want to suppress the overall wages by bringing in people who are frankly undertrained from overseas. And also there's a moral argument. If we're taking the brightest and best doctors from places like Ghana, that means that Ghana doesn't have them, and they kind of need doctors as well. But honestly, it's one of those things where, there are some very well-paid doctors. Not all doctors are paid equally, obviously. It depends on all sorts of things, seniority, region, fine. It is a bit of a priority right now, I think, to make sure that the staffing levels are up to scratch. And I think that the BMA needs to be prioritising getting money and making it available to take those doctors who are out of work, put them back into work, rather than getting pay rises for the ones who are already there. I get that it's difficult, but as you said, they are already doing a lot better than most people in the private sector are. And
I think doctors should be doing better. I think the brightest and the best with a load of great A-levels and a good degree, I think they should be paid well. I don't have any issue with doctors being highly paid.
Yeah, they should be paid well, but look at the overall economic situation of the country. If we all have to suffer, everybody has to suffer.
It's kind of read the room time, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
11:24 is the time. I want to hear from you on all the topics we are talking about, particularly jury trials. 0344 499 1000. It's the number. This is Talk.